Hi, good morning, everyone. So, as we discussed in the last week, so today I'm going to speak about the more basic fundamental libraries of Python. So, if anyone missed the last class, so you can go through the previous video, so you can get the basic idea about Python and what are the basics data structures and different functions, different loops we can use in Python. So today I'm going to speak about the two fundamental libraries of Python, that is NumPy and Pandas. So today my agenda is that today my agenda is to explain about the NumPy and as well as the Pandas. So initially let's we go to the Python. Python NumPy. So NumPy is a one of the basic uh, library in Python. So we can do the numerical things in this particular library. So this is the basic and fundamental library for doing any kind of numerical computing. So objective of this particular library is about to make the all the array as a homogeneous, means homogeneous multi-dimensional numpy having different arrays. So numpy it mainly explains about the n dimensional arrays. So this is all about the numpy. So let's move on to some coding part of this library, so we can understand what are all the things we can do it with this library. So let me move to the Python. So this is all about the basics of NumPy, and I have explained. I have written all the code which is most important when we are doing any kind of work with NumPy library. So let's begin with importing NumPy to the Jupyter notebook. So if anybody not yet installed Python or Anaconda, so you can install through by watching the previous session video. So this session we are going to speak about these two libraries especially. So let me import the library NumPy. So let's run. So import. So whenever we are importing any library into Python, so you should give the main name and the prefix of that. Means it is means in future if you want to do any kind of work using this library, so you can use the np instead of numpy. So it is like sub name for the whole library. So I'm importing the library import numpy as np. So I want to create some basic coding with this. So I want to create some arrays. So let me create array. So it explains that this numerical Python, in numerical Python, arrange means I have a variable, I have a values from 1 to 0 to 15. So I want to arrange. Reshape will make the shaping of that particular means how we need to present that particular values. So it will create 3 rows and 5 columns. So you can see the array here. So this this complete array having the values from 0 to 15. So when we are considering the index value of that particular array, so it will start from 0 to 14 as we discussed in the previous session. So if I want to check what is the shape, means what is the dimension of particular array. So if I want to check that, if you give a dot shape, so it will give. So it is the shape of that particular array. It is 3 and 5, means three rows and 5 columns. So as we can check using this shape method. So and The next, suppose if you want to check the type of this particular array, so what kind of array it is and how can we identify. So, Shiv Sundar, I will explain arrange. So, in the means there is separate coding for that. I will explain in coming coming few minutes. So, this is just I explained about the idea about how to create and all. So, I will start with the creating array and all. So, this is just I'm giving the brief idea. What can we do with the NumPy? So if I want to check the type of that particular array, so if I click on that, so it will show. So all the values inside the array, those are integers. So it explains that there is no other values or there is no float value. So in Python, so we are calling this integer as it is, but for the fractions we are using fractions we are using for float in Python. It is float. So let me check. So checking using d type, checking the particular array name, it is different than type checking by checking type of a, so it will give what kind of array it is. So you can see it explains that numpy dot nd array means n dimensional array. So the array which we have created, so it is n dimensional. So we can see that it is three dimensional array, so because three rows are there. So if I want to check size of that particular array, so I can check. So it will give the product of this shape. So means the shape, if a shape instead of 3 comma 5, it is 5 4 comma 5, so 5 cross 4, so 20, so that will comes here. So this is how we can create how we can check the size of particular array. So you can see in arrange, so you can see the value. This is the size of this particular array, so it is 15. So again it gives the 15. So if you want to cross verify, you can do the cross product of this. So you can product of this shape, so you will get the size of that particular array. So let me create one more array. So see, the array is a group of tuple. So this is one dimensional array. So I will explain what is one dimensional, two dimensional, three dimensional. So let's understand. I have created one array here. So I'm just going to print that array. So it gives the array like this. So this is the array which I created. So I want to check the d type again. So now, so it is giving that the particular array type is integer 32. So if I give name after the d type, if I give name, so it will give completely the integer 32. It won't give the what d type equal to integer or something. So it will directly give what is it is. If it is float, so if I want to create for others, let me create one more array. So d equal to np dot array of 2.3, 4.5, 6.7. So if I want to create array with the integers, so let me print this. So array has been generated. So if I want to check the d type of this array, it will give the float because it has the it is not integer, it is a fraction, so that's why it's giving the type is float. So if I want to give the complete name of that, so it will give float 64. So if you instead of this, if you type of that particular array, it will give the n dimensional array. So this is how we can understand the basic things of NumPy library. So this is how we can import NumPy library into Jupyter Notebook or any kind of platform which where we can write the Python code. So this is how we can import. So then let me start with the array creation. What means how to create array and all. So there are several ways to create arrays in NumPy. So you can create an array from a regular Python list if you want to create in a list or tuple. So as we discussed in the previous class, what is a list, what is tuple. So if you any of you have doubt about that, so still you can go through the previous class and you can understand what is list and tuple. Then you can come and watch this session, or you can check these things in the later also. So so we will I think you can check the link of the previous session, you can get it from the group, so that we will share after the class. So so as we are on the way, so we will not share the, we can't share the link now, so we will be explain it later. So this is how this is about array creation. So it will be it is adding of list and tuple. So you can getting the print in a different format, so whatever the way you want to print it. So I'm just creating an array, so which has the values 3357. So this is how as I explained in the beginning, so this is the one advantage where we can give a sub name for the library. So instead of writing numpy, so we can give np.array, so it considers that, yeah, this guy is going to create array based on the numpy library. So it try to understand that, and it will print the array format, so with a tuple size, so tuple. So if I want to check name, the same thing. So if you remove those things and all. So this is what I explained in CLS. So I think now you can understand the D type of this float. So and about then if you want to create this allow for means the any words, so you can create a array uh, different words like that. So if you want to check the what is the data type of this, so it will give string 128. So this 64 integer 16 128, that is by default data structures of Python. So as we had in the R, that numerical integer matrix vector like that. So these are the same thing, but they are adding some numbers with the particular data type of particular array or something. So if I want to check that frequent error while calling array with multiple numeric arguments, so how can we proceed with this kind of arrays? So if I want to create, so if I want to create with completely using tuple, so how it is creating the array? So let me try this. So see, it is giving the wrong keyword, means only two non-keyword argument accepted, means it is not accepting only the tuple. So inside the tuple there should be a list, then only it will work. So I will create the right format of the array, so you can check from this way. See, it is creating, it's created the new array, and using list and tuple. So then how to do array transforms, means if it is in the sequence format, so how can we do it, how can we create one dimensional and two dimensional and three dimensional and multi-dimensional arrays, means n dimensional arrays. So here I have created one dimensional array, so you can check in the inside the list, inside the tuple there is only one list. So now I'm going to create one more list, so that we call it as the two dimensional. So here I created two different dimensions. See, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. So it will create two dimensional array. See, it is kind of matrix. So once you created two dimensional array, it is like look like uh, two dimensional. So then if you want to check the particular array type, array data type, so you can using this particular what can I say? There's a type. Means if you using D type, so you can create the arrays. So these are the array range I want. So with this value, I want to create one complex array. So if I print this, so it will create the complex number. So 1 plus it by default it is considered 0 J. So this is how we can create different kind of D type with you by creating using D type. So you can create different kind of arrays. So NumPy offers several functions to create array with initial placeholder content. So these minimize the necessity of growing arrays and expensive operation. So suppose if you want to create some arrays with a particular value, suppose if you want to create, I want the all the observation in the array that that 2 or 3. So particular 3. If you want to print all the values inside the array should be a 3. So that also you can do it with the help of NumPy here. So I'm going to create the function 0 in array. It should be full of zeros, and then I will create ones. If you want to create anything else, so you can easily create. Or if you want to create using random numbers, so you can easily create the random numbers as means you can possible also. So this np dot 0. So what I'm creating the array np array. I'm going to create an np array with 2 rows and 3 columns. So let me create. You can see the array that has 3 columns, 1 2 3 and 2 rows. So this is how you can create an array with the array full of particular value, 0 or something, anything else, if whatever you want. So and if I want to create and if I want to check the type of that, what is the type of this particular array. So I'm going to create again. So it will give, so that is NumPy in dimensional array. So whichever the array if you create and if you check the type of that particular array, it will explains about only the NumPy.nd array. So if you want to check the particular D type, data type, so then only it will give the what data you have inserted in that particular array. So this is how, so you can check the difference here itself. So see the value which we entered inside the array, it is float, means the value is a float value, means 0 point something and 0 0.2, 0 0.3, 0 0.4, so whatever. So that has the float values inside the array. So that's why it's given float 64. And suppose if I want to create the array which array having all the one values inside the matrix with the type of integer. So as I create just now. So Kashish, we have explained the data types in previous class. If you go through that, I think you can understand, or else you can means, if you need any document or something, so I can share you once we complete the session. Okay, yeah, thank you. So I'm going to create a array, the array having the values 1, and it has 3 rows and 4 columns, and the array inside the array having only the integer type. So if I'm going to print this, so it will give the values 1 inside and it is showing data type. Still if you have doubt, you can check using the type of. So let me assign to a particular name, and I will check a dot d type dot name. If I give, so it will give integer 16. So here also I have mentioned integer 16, and here also it's showing the integer 16. So this is how we can create the array with help of NumPy. So and as well as let me explain about uninitialized means the what the what array and what are the variables, what are the values we get it in the array. So this is uninitialized. So we don't know what values we will get it from this. So if I click on this, so it will take by default what are the values we need, and it will I mean without giving means without giving any idea, so it will create an array. So this is how we can using empty function. So you can create an array. So Sundar, is it clear now? Still voice is breaking. Okay, so thank you. So if I want to create a sequence of number, so using no, yes, this we can say as random number. So it will take randomly. So means we don't know what the values will comes inside the array. So it will take randomly and it will create an array. So the next, if I want to create an array with the array, so with by giving sequence, as in or how we can give the sequence that if I want a value from 10 to 15, the segregated by 3 or 2 values. So how it is creating. So the same thing we can do it in Python. So the sequence, basically no, it depends on how many rows and columns you need. So by default, it means based on this column and row, it will create an array. So there is nothing like end and start or like that. So it means if you give this random value, so it will means if you give np.empty, so it will randomly choose those things and it will create an array. So functions, we cannot say functions. So yeah, you can say the structures of Python. So you can say in a different way. We cannot say the particular way. These are the data structures. So these are the different. How can I say that? These are the different formulas or different formats where we can do different kind of things with Python. So in R, as we can means using sequence, we can create the particular sequence like that. We can create in Python using arrange. So if I give np.arrange, so this is the minimum value which I want in my array, and this is the maximum value. So when we are creating an array, the it should be the difference of the 1 to second value. It should be the difference of 3. So if I create this, so it will give so 10. So minimum value will be the 10, and it will add 3. 13 and 16, I think 22. So like that it will create an array. So whenever you are considering you are creating any array in Python, so any array any kind of yeah I'm coming to explain that. So whenever you're printing any array or any matrix or anything in Python, so it will consider the initial value. It shouldn't consider the last of the particular value. So for example, in previously I have created an array 1 to 5. So it creates only 0 to 4 only. So it won't take the last value which we mentioned in the array values. So this is how we can create an sequence array. So using the arrange function. So then let me try with the different format and so I want to create an array, the value which has start from 0 and to 2. So the difference between these 1 to second value should be 0.3. Okay, so I will explain that in the last of this section means the final means last 5 minutes I will show you how to open Jupyter notebook or Spider anything. So I will explain it in the last class. Yeah, see, it depends on when we are doing some functioning with the array. So no need of using brackets. So by default it considers. So here I'm going to use the sequence function. So I don't need to use bracket. So you can use the parentheses. You can create an array. So if I create this, so it only gives the values from point 0 to 0 0.3, 0 0.6 like that, because I have given the difference of 2, so difference of 2, so point 0.3, so it is giving the values, so like that it created till 2. So this is how we can create using the float values, means the fraction values. So suppose if I want to create the same thing in a different formats, I don't want to what should I say? I don't want to give any value. So by default, it should consider those things. So how can I create that? So using the importing the pi value or the pi function inside the NumPy, it will create the particular array. Particular array. So using linspace. So for example, when we using arrange function for the floating function, it is generally not possible to predict number of elements obtained. Means here I gave, so I'm creating the complete I'm giving the value of 0.3, means how much difference I want from this particular array. So if I give the particular integer also, it will create the integer. But without giving the float value, means the fraction value here, I want an array, so that I need to import the particular function in Python, that is pi. So if I create using linspace, it will create an array with the difference of some different fractions. So 2.15 and 2.5 means it will divide this into 15 parts and it will create an array. So this lins function will help to do those things. So instead of array, so you can use this and you can create the fraction array. So this is how we can do this thing. So I think most of the time, so you will not use this kind of function. So this is to understand how NumPy is working. See, when we talk about NumPy, there are 112 different kind of calculation we can do with the NumPy. So I didn't take all the things. So I just taken whatever is required for the beginners and make them understand the NumPy, how it is working and all. So the same thing using 2Py I'm going to create. So it won't print all the values. So it will print only the differences between that. So you can see 2 star 5 is the 6.28. So it started array with 0 to 6.28, and the difference that is making 100 times it's created. So it is not showing all the values. Linspace. So here I have explained. So I have created the arrange here. So it gives the array 0 to 2.3. So I don't want to give this value. This 0.3 I don't want to give, but by default it should create the array with the fraction. So you can see here, if I import Python, if I use the linspace, so I'm not giving here the 0.3 and 0.5, 0.60. I hope you understand now. So here 0.3 I gave, here I didn't given any point value. So I gave just the integer value 15. So what it is doing, it is creating an array with the values start from 2 and end till 10, and the in between that the 15 values will be created. Those are the fractions, means float values. So So you can check from here 2.0, you can consider 2.0 and 2.57 and 3.14. So see this, these are the means, still 14 or yeah, I don't know, means 12 values in between here. Yes, yeah, 15 float values will come inside the array. Okay, yeah. So I think this one is clear, where we can use linspace and where we can use arrange function. So I hope you guys understood it. So I will move forward. So if I want to print a sign function, so uh, uh, in using NumPy function, so I'm just creating sign. This is the x value which I create. I'm going to take this value itself. I will going to find out the sign function. So it is a value of sign of zero point 0 and sign 0.06. Like that, it created an array. So without NumPy, so if I want to, so if you have doubt that if, can I create sine function or cos function or tan function without giving the NumPy, without assigning into number, so it won't consider that. So it is saying that name error. What it means, name sign is not defined. And if you give the instead of this, if you give yeah, cos of x cosine value. It not under it couldn't understand. Otherwise, if I give np dot forward, so it will create an array with the cosine value. So this is how it is understanding the scientific things when we are using NumPy. So NumPy will understand all the mathematical and scientific things. So that's why most of the mathematical things will come under the NumPy library. That's why people are calling numerical Python. So this is mainly for doing mathematical calculation. So when we printing an array, so there are the rules we need to follow. So let me go back to the PPT. So when you print an array, when you create an array, so there are some rules you need to follow. NumPy displays its own way to nested lists. So there are many lists together. It's creating. So if you want to create that, so it should follow the some rules. That first one, the last axis is printed from the left to right. So 0, as I told you, 0 to 10. Sorry, 0 to 10, so it is printing 0 on the left side, and the last value shouldn't be finished. So second to last is printed from the top to bottom. It won't create the 10th value, it create only the 8, means it will give the difference of 2 or 3. So these are the different rules where we I have explained when I was showing the array creation. So this is the rules we need to follow when we are printing an array. So let me explain about what is the difference between one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and tri-dimensional. Uh, One-dimensional array and two-dimensional, three-dimensional array. So this is so I'm request everyone that if you have any doubts in between that, so you just make a note. So I will give a time in the end of the session, so I can explain your questions, whatever the questions you will get. So I will take the all the queries and I will explain in the last. I hope it is okay. So let me go for creating an array, one dimensional, two dimensional. So I'm going to explain the different dimensional array. So I'm creating the one dimensional array with the use of arrange. So instead of arrange, let me create this how it is creating. So if I give arrange, so it will take the values from 0 to 6. So 0 to 6 means, so it will do, it remove the value which we show in the arrange function, which we show in the here. It will give the remaining value. So it has 6 values, 3 and 3, 6. So this is how we can uh, create an array using the arrange function. I hope my voice is clear now. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So instead of this, I can create in a different way also. So as I created initially, a dot np dot array. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry for the interruption. So if I print this array that is created, this is also one dimensional array. So what it is doing, it is creating the values in a one row. So that's why we are calling one dimensional array. So if I consider the two dimensional array, so as I discussed in the beginning of the session, that how we can use the arrange function. So this is np. I'm going to create an array with the values from 0 to 12, and the shape, that means the particular array shape should be 4 rows and 3 columns. So let me create this. So this is the two-dimensional array. So you can check with array type. So this is we can call it as two dimension. So it has two different dimensions. So because see, when we talk about one array, it doesn't have any dimension. So it is just just one row. So if you consider the shape, so it will be the two-dimensional way of array. So as like that. So if you want to create a three-dimensional array, so you can see this. I'm going to create this. So what it is doing, why I gave one more number here. So I think you will understand once I print this array. So this is the difference between one, two, and three-dimensional array. So one dimensional array will be coming like this, and two dimensional array will be coming like matrix, and three dimensional array will be looking like two different matrix with the value related to first and second. So I hope this is clear. What is one dimension, two dimensional, three dimensional array. So like that, you can create for n dimensional array. So it will be the values here dot dot dot, and then n1, n2, n3, and n so on, nk. So whatever value comes here, so it will create an n dimensional array. So that's why when you are checking the print of this array, it will be the value. So let me print the type of this array. So it will be integers. If I want to check type of C, it will give the ND array itself. So whichever the array you created using some NumPy, it explains only the it always giving only the n-dimensional array NumPy dot nd dot array. So how we are checking the class of particular matrix in R. So the same thing here type is doing. So if you want to check something some variable class in R, so the same way you can use the type here. So if I want to create an array with the value having the bigger value, so it's too large, so it's very difficult to print. So in that situation, what it will do? So let me create an array. The array which is having the value till 0 to 10,000 means 999. So let me print it. So it will create like this: 0, 1, 2. So in between that, it will give the dot values. Because if you want to print this overall values, you need to give a shape, and there are a few more functions, so you need to use those things. So I didn't go through this Yes, that you can do it. That you can do it. So arrange is just for the taking the value, not for anything else. Okay. Here we are using array for the different purpose to create an array. Here I am just giving the values, means which are the values should be there in my array. So that's why I'm using array here. So that you can check the type also for that. If I save this in a one particular observation, so you can check like this itself. So it will give ND array itself. So like that you can create. Reshape will help you to make, means what kind of shape. Okay, let me create this. I will show the difference between this. If I create this array, it will give like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 23. Okay. So if I give reshape here, so just check the things it will give, what it will give, you can understand. So it will give the shape for that. This is how it is creating. Earlier, if you give only the arrange without reshape, it won't look like a matrix. It look like only the array. It's completely one line array. So there is no shape at all. If you give reshape, it will give the shape, whichever the what kind of shape you want. So it will print those things here. So let me go for the basic operations for mathematical operation. How can we do it NumPy package? So in reshape, what is 2, 3, 4? Okay. So here this is two different matrices. Okay. Let me explain from here. Here I didn't given anything. When I create a one-dimensional array, it is just a line. You can consider like that. This is the one row. I didn't given any shape. So now I gave shape. The shape should be like a matrix. So the shape, the reshape, the particular shape of that array should be having four rows and three columns. So it will create it. Now it is look like a matrix. So earlier it was not looking like matrix. So now I want to create three-dimensional array. If when we talk about three-dimensional, it should be the three axis. So what it is doing? So this I'm going to create two different matrix with three rows and four columns. So you can see the different. So this square bracket will divide this matrices. So you can see here. So this is one matrix and this is one matrix. So this is how many matrix you want from this. If you give more, so you need to change the value here. If you give 36 or something, so you can give 3 here and it will create. So it is a multiple of these three values. Yes, yes. First value represents the number of matrix, how many you want, and this will be explains about the rows, and this will explain about the column. This is what I was explaining from the beginning. When I explained initially, reshape what it is doing. I hope now this clear. With a more 4D matrix as well. You can create, so you can create 4D, 5D, and 5D. Means mainly we are working on 1 and 2, 3. So I have taken the functions which are required for the beginner. So if you want to do n-dimensional, you can create those things. You can go to. I will share after this class. I will share some PDFs and all, so you can go through those PDFs, so you'll get the idea what is NumPy and what are all the functions can you do with NumPy like that. So I'm going to create two arrays. So one is having the values 20, 20, 30, 50, 60, and this will be the 0 to 4, 0 to 3. So let me print those. So this is an array. If I give so it will go into this. So it will give the first reference. Let me create a separate one. So it will create. So now I want to do subtraction a minus b. So let me check what will be the. So 20 minus 0, 20, 30 minus 1, 29, 50 minus 2, 48. So it will do the subtraction by means this is how we can do the basic operations in using array. So if I want to make, so this is my array. I want to find out the square of this value. 0 square, 1 square, 3 square, what will be the value? So if I give 2 star, it will be the square of that particular number. 0 square is 0, 1 square is 1, and 2 square 4, 3 square 9 like that. So if you want the only the if you want to multiply with multiply if you want to multiply the the array name b with the value 2, you can create so array 0 to 2. So it multiplies the array with the number 2. So 202, 200, 21 yeah 2, 2 2 yeah 4, 2 3 yeah 6. So it will multiply those things. So if I want to multiply with sign function, you can do so it will multiply with the particular value with the different function. So yeah, means if you want to print the values which is less than 35, this is occurring in array A. So if you give, so it will show. The first value x2 it is less than 35, second also means 20 30 are less than the 35 value. So 50 60 is greater than 35, so it is given false. So this is how we can do the basic operations with NP array, NumPy array. So if you want to do matrix uh, cross product means multiplication. So how can we do this? So this is I have created two-dimensional arrays A and B. Let me just run this. So I want to find out the element wise product. Means one first row, first column, first row, second column, first row, third column. So how we are doing mathematically the this matrix product means multiplication of two matrix. So like that we can do here also. So if I give A star B, so it will do element wise product. So this is how it creates the product of that particular values. So let me go for matrix product. So if I want to do the matrix product, so it will give the total product dot b and this. So the total product of the matrix is star 310. So if you want to do another matrix product, so you can use np dot a comma b, it will give the product. So both are giving the same answer. So the way of writing is different. So if here you are not writing any np, you're just giving a dot b. When you are writing the same thing in another format, so you can use this np dot, so give the value, so it will create. Or else you can create a function which I explained in the previous session, that df, whatever the function you want to create and the result, so you can use those things also to do this kind of things. So in this if I want to create some uh, uh, random array with having two rows and three columns, so the value should be in a random. And if I want to do some the calculation, so I can use the functions like below. So let me create an array with the random numbers. So these are the random numbers which are generated randomly. So This is the code we need to keep. So if you get any doubt about this np dot random, so why it is not coming for one random, why it is not coming for two random. So if I give only one random, what it will think. So if you have doubt, let me show you those things also. np dot random 2 comma 3, it shows that module or object is not collaborative. It don't know what we need to print. So we give the option of np dot random. So here in random, so which variable we need to do, means how many variable we need to do the random, it couldn't understand that. So if you leave one more random, it will understand how many variables we need to print. So if you give print of that, it will print the random numbers here. So you can check here from here whether it is random or not. So this is how created initially. The initial value 6807, here 62. So now I think you can understand that it is definitely working on random numbers, means it will definitely generate the random number itself. Suppose if I want to find the sum of the uh, particular array. So if you give, so it will give the total number of total value of that particular array. And if you want minimum value, so which is the minimum value here? So point one is a, we want only integers, then we have to give detail. uh, I didn't get your question, so you can ask the questions directly in the means in the last of the session, please. I didn't get your question because you written in a wrong way, so I will explain those things. Okay, yeah. So if I want to find out the maximum value, so I can check this. So you can check what is the maximum. It is 0.9. So it will print. If you want to print the average value of the particular array, it will print a dot mean if you give this particular. So R we are writing like this. So mean of value something if you give X or something. So like that here a dot mean. So we are not including inside, so it will just giving outside. So this is how we can do some calculations. So if you want to do indexing, slicing and iterating with in array, so these are the different types you can do. So I'm going to create an array with cube root. So what it will be, so this is the, so 0, so I'm creating array, the value which is 0 to 9. So it will give the cube of cube root of, means cube of that particular value, means 0 cube, 1 cube, 2 cube. So 2 cube is like that it will create for it. The data type also it will printing it as integer completely. So if I want to check, so suppose I don't know, I have three uh, in this particular array, I know only the three value, what will be the fourth value. So if I want to find out that, you can give fourth value, what will be my fourth? 64. So 3 cube 8 and 4 cube and 5 cube is 64. It is giving 4 cube, 64 is giving. So this is how we can give the place there, the particular value place, and we can get those number. Suppose if you want to print, so here 0 1 2, I can see 0 1 2 and I want from 3 to 10. What are the different values I can find from here? Click here, see. After this 27 64 125. So here also it is cutting if you give less values. 3 to 8, not 8, 8 to 6 give, let's print. So it will give 3 values. So when you are giving the range, means a big range, so it will give only the dot value. So if you want to print that, so there is a proper option, something some function is there, so using that you can do those things. So suppose in array, how can I use loop function? For example, loop for loop function. Suppose I have an array of this array. I want to print some values. So how can I print? So this is the this is how we can write for loop. For I in a means anything in a. So I want print the cube root of that particular uh, value. So it will give the value like this. So 0 cube, 1 cube. So it will give the cube of that particular value. So it will, means this is how we can create. If you want to, if you just give the I value, so let me show you what it will give. Print I. So it will print only the values which you created. It's giving only the 10 values. If you want to do multiplication of this, multiply by 3. This value multiply by 3. So it will 0302. Okay, so let me write it in a separate loop. I think then you can understand what I am doing here. Let me add one more variable. Sorry, I in a print of I uh, I plus 3. I will do the basic function. How it will be. See, it is adding 3 value for each value of that particular array. If you want to do multiplication, if you give star here, it will do the multiplication of with 3. So this is how we can do the indexing, slicing, iterating with the array NumPy using NumPy library. And if we want to do the shape manipulation, sorry, there is a miswriting, shape manipulation. So you can so this is also you can create from here. When you write a name, if you go and click the heading, automatically it will change. If you shift enter, so it will change as like this. So if you want to create the markdown menu, you can give markdown, and if you run this thing, so it will run as a markdown. So if you want to write as a code, so you can see the different options here. So using this, so for coding this markdown means for the smaller if you want to write any theory of that, so you can use the markdown, and if you want to write as a consider as heading, so you can use. So let me talk about shape of an array. So how can we change the shape of the array? So I'm just creating an array with a random variable and having a shape of 3 comma 4, 3 rows and 4. So let me create. So this is the array which I created with the random values of different 3 rows and 4 columns. So if I check the shape of an array, so it is saying 3 rows and 4 columns. So this it's correct. So now I want to convert this completely flattened. How can I convert this? Using a dot ravel of a parenthesis, close parenthesis, it will be. So now I converted the whole thing into a flattened, just a flat. That's 90 degree, like we can consider the 90 degree. You are putting all the values in a x-axis. You can consider like that. So x-axis 180 degree. Sorry, not 190 degree. Uh, okay, flat means, yeah, that's what I'm explaining. Flatten means earlier it is having three-dimensional or two-dimensional array. So now I want to create one dimension. So for means in a layman language I can say I want to put all the values in a 180 degree. Means 180 degree means only x-axis. I don't want y-axis. I want to put in an x-axis only all the values. So how can I do that? So using flatten function I can convert the two dimension, means yeah, whatever the value in y I will directly convert to into a x. So it will become a only one dimension, that is x dimension is only one dimension. So this is the use of flattened. If you want to do modifications, now it is 3 comma 4, and now I want 6 row and 2 column. So if I give reshape of that, so it will it reshaped of that one. So it will give that 6 row and 2 column. So if I want to transpose, means I want to change the overall structure of the particular array, so you can using a dot t, you can do this. So this is same as how we are writing in R. So if anybody aware, means I think almost all aware of R codes. So this is same as the R. If you want to check the shape of that, so now you can see it's giving 4 comma 3. So if you want to check shape of that, it's giving 3 comma 4. So now it is transformed. Earlier it was 4 comma 3. Once I transform the overall matrix, it converted 4 comma 4 means I transpose. So the actual shape of the particular array is 3 comma 4. So this is how we can do different functions or different things with NumPy package. So let me directly go to the initial thing of pandas. So okay, I will give 5 minutes time. If you have questions about NumPy, so please let me know. So then we will go for pandas. So I think we will have only the uh, 20 minutes time. Anybody want to ask any question for NumPy? So please ask me. Please unmute your mic and ask me the question. So I will give the 5 minutes time, or else we can keep this in the end of the session. Sasi, is it fine, Sasi? Okay. Shall I go like, or shall I start the pandas library, or what should I do?
Just one thing.
Yeah.
What if we give a smaller number of observations in bigger array?
Uh, uh, can you please repeat the question?
What if we give smaller number of observations in bigger array? So let's say I wanted to, give 1 to 10 observation
Okay.
into 10 by 10 matrix.
Okay. So you just think, so if you have only the 10 values, so how can you create a 10 cross 10 matrix? Is it possible?
No, I mean, understand. I mean, intentionally we won't be doing it, but sometimes our, the matrix end-to-end observation doesn't match with the number of observations we have in our data. So
Okay.
in that case, what it will be, populating on those mismatching observation.
Okay, so that kind of situations you can use a repeating function. So the observation, how many observations? So see, when we are creating a matrix, so it depends on the how many observations are there. So based on the observation, you can create a matrix. Means here we can say that array, two-dimensional array. So if you don't have enough observations, so let me show that. So the your question is, let me take np dot arrange of 10 value with the reshape of 10 comma 10, right? Is this your question?
Yes, I mean, for example, let's take.
Yeah. See, it will see cannot reshape the array of size 10, because the observation having only 10. So how can you make it a 10 cross 10 matrix? So it is difficult. Yes. Okay, Shashi. So I will. Okay, so you can take a 10 minutes time for the discussion. So anybody wants to ask questions, so you can ask. So pandas, we will start in the next week. And so next class, I will talk about pandas.
So,
So along with that, if I
Santosh, can you hear me?
yes, what is name?
Hi, this is Shiv. So you were all the arrays that we discussed in Nora, they're all starting from zero. So suppose if we want to start from somewhere in between, say from 5 or from 10. So how do we do that?
Okay, so see, if you give the array of start from You want from 5 to 10, right?
Says, yeah,
5 to,
instead of say from 0.
okay,
5 to say 30 or 35.
okay. So let me,
I don't want to start from 0 basically. Yeah.
okay. So let me show you that. Arrange. So if you want to start from 5 to 10, so you need to, you can't give the arrange function, because arrange function, what it is doing, whatever the value you give here, it will consider from the beginning. If you want to
Yes.
create an array from the 5 to 10, so you need to write manually that which are all the variable you want, are 5 6 7, or you directly want 10 after 7. So you can create using this.
So Santosh, basically there is no way to write. I mean, if in case it's there's too many values to write manually, how do
Yeah.
we? In that case, how do we? Yeah, how will
Uh,
we do that?
so that case, you can use the pandas L. So in pandas
Okay. Okay.
there are some functions. So I will explain once
Oh,
you
so
create.
acha, so Sashi is writing. So Sashi is the same as R, right? Sequence. Hello.
Huh? Yes, yes. Please.
Okay. 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 Fine. Got it. Got it, Santosh. Thank you.
You got it? Okay.
Also, yeah,
I think.
Santosh, can we also create a zeros array and then run a for loop to include the numbers? Like if we want to create a array from 5 to 10, we can create a zeros array of 5 elements and then run a for loop to include the numbers. Can we do that?
Uh, can you please loudly, because I'm not able to hear your voice. It is not clear.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
No. Yes, please.
Yeah, so I am saying to create an array from 5 to 10, can we create a zeros array and of 5 elements and then run a for loop to input the numbers? Can we do like that?
That we can do it with the help of creating your own function with an array. So if you go through the previous class, there I explained about functions, how to create.
Yes, yes,
So def, let me write it. Suppose if I
yes.
want def, some particular function I want to do. Okay, so that using that it
Yes,
will create those things. So directly
yeah,
you cannot do that with np dot some function. So you can using the function, creating your own function, then you can implement those things.
got it.
Is it clear?
स्विच ऑफ करके ऑन कर लो उसके बाद
Hello.
नहीं सुबह वो येलो वाला आता है ना वो आ रहा था तो मैंने आपके
Hello,
कस्टमर
hello,
Yes, please.
Santosh.
Yes.
Yeah, how can we change the data type of any column or any arrays?
Oh, data type. See, data type you cannot change. Means it data type depends on the values which we are assigning to that particular array. If you arrange, if you give a array, so you are telling like this. Let me explain. Array of 3 with integer and 3 comma 4 comma some particular uh, what can I say, lab. So in this situation, if you want to create an array, so it's created. So if you give a type of that d type, it will give the string itself, because there is a uh, rule that what it's going to be print when you are checking the data type. The same thing which in R, what we are doing, initially it will take the string value, then it will take the integers, and then it will print the integer values. So if I remove the string, let me check the array type, so you can understand. The type dot. let me keep it in array. If I want to check the array type, it will give the float. So it is like the first is string. Okay, so then float, then the integer. So this is the order of the printing of the particular array. Is it clear?
How to change? Yeah, how to change data type in any column? So if we have a list
Okay.
and if we want to change any data type from integer to float
Okay. So
or
how we are doing as dot factor, as dot integer, right?
yeah, yeah.
In R we are
So can you
so
explain with example?
okay, that will comes under the pandas library. So I will explain in the pandas.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the NumPy will be play only the numeric things. So those things, how to doing concatenation, how to create pivot table, how to import files into Python, how to import the doing merging. These things will comes under the pandas library. So I will explain those things in pandas. So if I think time is over, so otherwise I would have
Yeah,
started.
before
I will clear those doubts in the coming session. Okay.
6, 9.
Okay.
So, Shashi, you'll be discussing the next class is also Sunday, same time, right?
Yeah, the same time, but I will start early in next Sunday. Means I will start around 10 o'clock itself, so we can get 2 hours time, so I can completely cover the pandas.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shashi.
Yeah,
You're
I
a good
will.
teacher.
Very good. Yeah, thank you. So any doubts if you have, so you can ask me. Welcome, Sashi. So shall I stop the session?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we can wrap up. Thanks, Aziz. Thanks.
Yeah, well.